I'm Andrew Mann, Revival Building Group. We're back at Fell Road. I have a lot to do today, a lot of people here on site. We're gonna make this one quick. Freaking a lot happens to make a house come together. I always seemingly forget this. Every project, I always forget how much detail. That's why you just gotta hang out here sometimes, set up shop. And it probably annoys the hell out of them that I do it, because I often hear this a lot. And this isn't me like bragging or anything, but I hear you're the most involved builder, owner, builder, project manager that we deal with. And honestly, like we like to hover a little bit. It annoys some of the subs really bad because I don't like doing things twice. Inevitably, sometimes you end up having to do things twice and like fix things. And like it's part of the job and I get it and I've relaxed about that. But at the same time, I haven't. So we try and prevent as much as we can just by kind of just being available and pre-planning as much as we can, and then knowing that the plan's gonna get messed up. So you kind of use the plan as like really all pre-planning is like you got 1 foot on a solid platform and this other one is out here like kicking problems. If you don't have that solid footing, you just get kicked over. Just speaking on my own truth, you know, Gilmar. And then we also have tile going on this week. Tile is creating a bunch of little complications, which it always does. Tile, to me, I would say it's oftentimes one of the most stressful aspects of a project, consistently from design through to the end of the project and protecting the tile. Because what you have is in the beginning of a project, you've got to pick out tile. And when you're picking out tile, you're picking out the floor, you're picking out the walls, you're picking out the threshold. And it's a lot of times it's very overwhelming for customers. And then you find out how expensive your tastes are. Almost 9 times out of 10, people love way more expensive tile than they actually want. So then you do your best to filter that the first meeting, but you sometimes go back for a round 2, either because there's not enough tile that you need for the project if it's really big, or you're like, damn, you know, you find out like your stepson picked the floors he picked for his tile. You're like, oh, I'm gonna let him pick. And he picks like tile that's the most expensive in the world and you gotta run it back. In this house, we have a little bit of a challenge because we had so many different remodels throughout the years that we were dealing with different floor heights. In this room, we fixed it for the wood or the LVT or, you know, whatever floor you were gonna put in here, we were ready for. But going into the tile, when you picked a product that is 3/4 thick, like a traditional hardwood floor, there's a lot of wiggle room with like the tile floor and making your transition really smooth. But when you pick a product like LVT or something that's got a thinner profile, like an engineered hardwood, some of them have really thin profiles like 5/8 or less than 3/4, it makes it a little harder to get your floor heights correct. I mean, getting the floor heights correct, it doesn't really matter that much unless you're trying to shoot for the goal to have like a seamless floor. And that's something we always strive for, but you really often end up with a threshold of some sort that not only delineates the space, like saying, hey, from this room, now you're crossing over the threshold into this room, which is obvious, but it also eases the transition and allows you to like make the transition between your tile to the rest of the flooring in your house, like say carpet. It's really hard to go tile to carpet. It sometimes doesn't look great. So you want to put a threshold in that's like a nice solid piece. It can break up the grout joints depending upon what tile you're using. The threshold's nice. So there's a lot of things coming into play here. We are making ourselves available to answer questions like layout or how things should look or what heights certain things are. And then wherever we, as in like me and Revival, get a say in something, we're ultimately speaking on behalf of the customer. So that's what we're doing today and yesterday and tomorrow. There's just a lot of things being fabricated, like the trim and the tile. Rather than talking about them on the phone, we're just kind of hanging out here in the mornings and a little bit in the afternoons and making sure that things are running as smoothly as possible, because that's good for the customer and the end result, but it's also nice for the trades. We work with a lot of these trades regularly, so every project it's the same people. We want to make sure that it's pleasant to work with us. You want to look at this tile and take a gander at this tile? Broke through it. I got to redo that. So in here, we've got the floor tile. I don't know a lot about these tiles, so I'm not going to be like, this one's from Spain and it was milled by a lady named Maria. No, everything's from Tile Studio in Doylestown, PA. They do a great job supplying and installing. I really only try and use them because they've been able to alleviate my stress throughout the years dealing with different tile installers. They're not all created equal, and like the goal of A clean tile installation is like a huge thing for me. We used to install our own tile and it's just not scalable. So we started trying to reach out and find other people to partner with to do our tile. And we've had a lot of success with Tile Studio. They supply, warranty, install, do all the prep work. And because they're supplying and install, like the quality of install is really great. And they also maintenance it if things go wrong. Like it's really important for the level of clients or the type of clients that we typically have. Being able to come back when something's not right is really important. And if you work with a tile installer and then you buy all your tile from IKEA, which I don't even know if they sell tile, but you know what I'm saying, like Floor and Decor, there's nothing wrong with that. But realize that like if something goes wrong and say the grout fails, the tile installer might turn around and be like, well, like that's Floor and Decor's problem. Or Floor and Decor might be like, well, it was installed incorrectly. And then those are, you know, you don't really have a leg to stand on. Even if you have a contract, what's a contract if the guy doesn't show up? A lot of people leaving you sue them over something. Like, no, it's just a headache. So what you do is you work with people that stand by their product and come back when things are wrong. This house has a lot of tile. I'm not kidding. We got 5 bathrooms, including the master bathroom. Each bathroom has its own feel. It's very unique that the customer and Jen Lawrence from Tiny Anchors, they were able to pick very unique things, but also very neutral tones, easy on the eyes. It's a testament to whatever they were doing. I know they went out to Tile Studio like 4 different times. So it shows. It's gonna look great. So that's what we got going on here. On to next week. It's hard to even think about next week. If we get everything on our plate done right now, all the touch-ups, we had to move a few outlets around. We had different outlets. You can't really see. After drywall, there was a couple things that just didn't turn out right. And the lights in here need to get moved. Like little things need to get tweaked to make it perfect. We could have just left it, but that's not, you can't live with it like that. So there's little things that we're changing here or there. For instance, this is really driving everyone nuts. Like these 2 lights up here, that one is a 1/4 inch closer to that wall. And we can't have that. Even though in the real world, like nobody even would look twice at that. And honestly, like nobody's gonna notice except for me and possibly the homeowner, because they're gonna walk down that hallway every day and see like the lights out of line by a 1/4 inch. You barely pick it up. You gotta laser eyes. Respraying all the insides of the vents because the primer guys did us dirty, which whatever, a couple minutes there. And next week we might start throwing paint on the wall, which is really exciting. This house is full. It last 2-3 weeks, it seems like everything's just kind of like flown together. The house is really starting to look like a home. Customers getting really excited, which means the pressure's on. And we'll see you next week.